Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, as well as the vast majority of crypto and finance. And today we have an absolute banger of a video. There's so much to talk about. There's going to be a lot of things in this video that might, make some people angry. It might make, it might actually open a lot of eyes. Actually, now that I think about it, it might open a lot of eyes to just how corrupt and rigged the system actually is. So with that in mind, let's dive in and let's talk about the bombshell announcement from Empower Oversight. So we do see they're suing the SEC in DC court for documents in crypto conflicts controversy. This is the second time now. The second time that a lawsuit is coming in for the SEC from Empower Oversight. And we do see down here, Empower Oversight filed a complaint against the SEC in the DC District Court seeking to compel the SEC to comply with an FOIA request regarding conflicts of interest and selective enforcement by former high-level officials regarding cryptocurrencies. In December 2022, Empower Oversight filed an FOIA request designed to counter the SEC's bad faith refusal to search for all communications between senior SEC officials and a specific list of people with interest in promoting other crypto over XRP. Empower Oversight has been at the forefront of the battle for the SEC transparency. In December 2021, Empower Oversight filed its first lawsuit against the SEC in the Eastern District of Virginia, seeking to compel the agency to respond to FOIA requests. Down here, we do see the SEC's failure to provide any transparency on this issue is making a bad situation look even worse. We are approaching 2 years since the Empower Oversight made its initial FOIA request and a year and a half since our first lawsuit. Yet, the SEC has consistently stonewalled any attempts to shed light on these clear conflicts of interest at the agency. The same exact thing is happening even around crypto and also crypto regulations. There's literally no work being done here. There's no transparency. There is no clarity. Nothing is happening. Now, with that, we do see this new suit against the SEC should force the SEC to do the searches it knows it must do under the law, give the public the answers we've long sought. Now, I honestly don't think that they're going to do anything. I mean, I hope that something comes from this, but ultimately we have not seen any movement from the SEC at all. It seems as though this is not really doing much to really push them towards doing any sort of work, but we hope that at some point in time, we do get some major movement from the SEC. Or maybe Congress steps in and makes the SEC do something. But again, my video from earlier yesterday, look at the congressmen. A lot of them are banker-backed individuals. So when we look at this, is Congress actually the answer to this? It's questionable, right? But we do see over here, so government watchdog sues SEC Gov again, open second front in fight for detailed Hinman, Clayton emails, phone logs, meeting notes with names, entities, and individuals. And check this out. So this is the list. Let me open it up in a new tab. That way I could zoom in and you guys can really see this. So here are the records that they want to request. So there's a lot of things around, obviously, the Hinman speech with a few other individuals tied to this as well. There's a lot of records in terms of communications from May of 2017 through December of 2020 with Mr. Hinman, as well as a massive amount of names here from even the Ethereum Foundation and so many other ones, especially even, Vitalik. And there's a lot of other ones as well. And also all records relating to communications from May of 2017 through January of 2021 between, of course, a few other names here as well. A lot of this information is information that has been withheld from the general public or just hidden in general on the SEC's behalf. So when we look at a lot of this is damning. All of this combined, I believe that this is what Brad Garlinghouse was talking about, where he said, if it does see the light of day, it's going to be shocking because all of this is around calendar entries, notes, emails. I mean, you name it. So this could very well be extremely large and damning for the SEC. Now, also over here, we do see listen to minute 2.01. This got posted. This is Brad Garlinghouse at that Dubai FinTech Summit. Check this out. Listen closely to what he is saying here.
I am incredibly optimistic about the future of crypto. And if you had told me that over the last year you're going to have the Terra Luna fiasco, you're going to have the FTX meltdown, and you're going to have a banking meltdown in the United States servicing crypto, and yet Bitcoin would still be at roughly 27, 28, 30,000, I wouldn't have believed you. And it really, I think, speaks to the resilience of crypto and why so many people are looking to it as a long-term place of value, a long-term, even maybe safe haven. Now, I don't know that that plays out in 1 year or 2 years, but I do think if you look out over the long arc of time, these technologies are here to stay. They're serving a purpose. And the more we as a community and an industry focus on solving real problems, focus on the utility of crypto, I think the more we're going to see the industry thrive. Look, I think the destabilization of banking has been a major driver of crypto since the beginning of the crypto industry. And we go back to the original Satoshi Nakamoto Bitcoin white paper, really came out of the ashes, what I'll call the ashes of 2008, 2009 banking crisis. And I think we continue to see angst around banking be a driver of crypto interest and crypto adoption. And I don't think it's any different than what we've seen in the United States over the last few months, that despite these kind of what I'll call meltdowns of the second and third largest bank failures ever in U.S. history. Now, what does that mean long term for the dollar and the reserve currencies? I think it's too early to know those things. I think the only thing I guess I would say is we often overestimate the change that'll happen in 5 years, but I think we underestimate the change that happens in 10 years and 20 years. Had you told me years ago when the internet was getting started that I could literally, click a button on my phone and have ice cream delivered in 20 minutes, I wouldn't have believed you. Yeah, but that's where we are today. And I think when you think about the impact of blockchain and crypto, it's hard to predict where it's going to play out. But I do know it's here to stay and it's going to continue to grow. Well, the case against Ripple by the United States SEC started 2.5 years ago, so it's certainly been a bit frustrating and slow, but the good news is we're at the end of that journey. And while others in the crypto industry might be at the beginning of that journey, the silver lining for Ripple has been that we're kind of at the end. Sometime, I would say, between the next 2 and let's say 6 months, I expect a resolution. The judge in the United States has been fully briefed. She has the decision on her plate. A federal judge can operate on whatever timeline in this case, she would like. But I'm optimistic we're going to see resolution, I believe, before the end of Q3.
So before the end of Q3 of this year, he's expecting resolution around this case. That will be very bullish. I'm not going to get my hopes up around any date. I don't think anyone else should as well, but I do think that we are coming down the wire. Now, the big eye-opening amount of information that we got today. So you guys are probably all aware of the hearing that was just held. So we do see over here from Crypto Law, unreal. This is unbelievable. Check this out. So this is from Eleanor Tourette, Scoop. Prior to today's financial CMTE hearing on digital asset regulation, a memo was circulated amongst Democrat committee members. It contained key messages for the FSC Dems to stick to, including supporting the SEC Gov's total authority over crypto regulation, its assertion that nearly all cryptos constitute securities, and that crypto's problem isn't ambiguity, it's mass non-compliance. The messaging also asserts that committee Republicans who are looking to cut the budgets of financial regulators are not actually serious about protecting investors and should instead focus on passing a clean debt ceiling bill, not on pro-crypto legislation. Guys, this is absolutely incredible. It is so unbelievable that this is happening. But why do I think that this is incredible? It's very simple. These people that are receiving these key messages to stick to and all this kind of stuff, these are bankers. These are people behind the banking system. Yes, I know that they're congressmen, but they support the banking system. Brad Sherman got a ton, and I mean a ton of donations from the big banks. We're talking Citi. We're talking about even BlackRock. As we do look at some of these names, them fighting back against crypto and them being this adamant about making sure crypto does not thrive gets me so damn bullish. Why? Well, because to me personally, it speaks volumes on how big of a threat crypto is. We do see in here. So here is a few things. So you could see some of the names. You could also see who they are. And also, you can see the overall breakdown of this committee as well, this overall hearing. And then over here, we could also see some key messages. Check this out. So while Republicans claim that they are working to provide clarity to the markets by carving out space for the CFTC in crypto, they're simultaneously undermining and hamstringing the agency by proposing to cut its budget. Republicans are proving that they really aren't serious about protecting investors and consumers. So what are Republicans supposed to do? Support Gary Gensler? Are we supposed to, give the SEC even more money so that they can go after crypto exchanges and crypto projects and completely rug pull crypto investors? Yeah, that sounds like a great protection, right? Committee Republicans are trying to pass pro-crypto legislation in June. Well, newsflash, our nation is set to default on its debt as early as June 1st. Republicans' number one priority must be to join Democrats in passing a clean debt ceiling bill to avoid an economic catastrophe before it's too late. Avoid an economic catastrophe. Well, listen to Brad Sherman over here. That's right, the pro-banker. This guy, man, somebody get him out of office. Why are we supporting people like this? Listen closely to what this absolute buffoon is saying.
Crypto bros make money literally by making money, and they've made over $1 trillion out of thin air. They'll accuse the U.S. government of making money out of thin air. Maybe we do, but we're the U.S. government.
So, yeah, the U.S. government. We could print money out of thin air because we are the U.S. government. What the hell does that even mean? Where does this guy come from? Like, where did this guy get his education at? Because to me personally, crypto's money, if you will, crypto's actual value is not printed out of thin air. It's printed out of the fact that people are finally seeing the cracks within the traditional system, like this guy here, that are behind the system, that know absolute zero about financial and economic policy that would allow the economy to thrive, and they are going to crypto. They're flocking to crypto as a safe haven. Crypto by design, or I should say most crypto by design, well, if you look at it, it's deflationary. That's where the value comes from. When you have something that is valuable and deflationary, well, guess what? It doesn't cause economic catastrophe like printing the US dollar to oblivion. That's why crypto is so valuable. We're not creating value from thin air. The value lies within the networks, within the use cases. And remember, the true value is behind the solutions to make the current traditional system that is complete garbage more efficient. But also, going back to this tweet over here, there's a few other ones. Republicans have decided to embark on a partisan pursuit of sweeping digital assets legislation that erects entirely new legal frameworks for the crypto industry when neither the Biden administration, investors, the SEC, nor other financial regulators have called on Congress to do so. The problem isn't ambiguity, it's mass non-compliance with existing laws, and crypto companies can't be left off the hook. The US has a regulatory system that has worked well and sustained massive innovation in the financial system for decades. Wow, that one's a big joke. That has to be, like, is a comedian writing these messages? Because to me personally, this is just comical. And then we also do see we can't invent new accommodating regulatory structures simply because crypto companies refuse to follow clear rules of the road. Is it a turf war if no one is fighting? Both the SEC and the CFTC are aligned on the fact that the SEC is the regulator to determine if crypto assets are securities, and the SEC has made clear that nearly all crypto assets are securities. End of story. Wow, how comical. Under Chair Gensler, the SEC has built up the strongest enforcement team yet to go after crypto criminals and protect investors and consumers from harm. Unfortunately, committee Republicans want to reverse course and tie the hands of the SEC. The SEC must continue to lend the regulation of the U.S. crypto market, and Congress must do its part to provide them with the resources they need. Absolutely wild, man. I have no idea what is going on in the US at this point. I mean, I feel like at this point I have seen it all. From these congressmen literally saying, hey, crypto's making money out of thin air. The US government can do so because the US government is the US government. I mean, I honestly have no idea what the hell is going on here. I mean, somebody needs to step in here because it is ridiculous. And by the way, the reason why they are calling on the CFTC, Republicans, by the way, a lot of those Republicans are pro-crypto. I don't need to tell you guys that, though, because, you know, previously at the other congressional hearing, Gary Gensler got completely roasted. But here we have nearly 70% of digital commodities traded today have already been deemed commodities by the CFTC. This is why regulators are calling upon them, and this is why pro-bankers are trying to get the hell away from the CFTC, because they know what the CFTC would do if they did step in. Listen closely to this.
Approach, because nearly 70% of digital commodities traded today have already been deemed commodities by the CFTC as a body, as opposed to any chairman, commissioner, or staff. And so I think we need to be thoughtful about which products are commodities and should be treated as commodities, just like oil or soybeans or interest rates.
So yeah, I mean, I really do think that at the end of the day, when we look at what's happening around this space, we need to ensure that we have the proper regulators on course, because the SEC is not doing their job. Listen, I don't care what these bankers are saying. There's a lot of corruption here. There's a lot of corruption. I mean, listen, this is truly eye-opening. I mean, this is why I've been saying since the dawn of time on this channel that the system is rigged against us. They don't want you getting rich. Only the bankers. But also, over here, we do see the SEC Gov Chair, Gary Gensler, all me and only me approach to regulating crypto is misguided at best. I'm glad today's witnesses agree. And again, when we look at some of these people, they are in support of the fact that the SEC and Gary Gensler are in the wrong.
I personally would liken Chair Gensler's approach to my son Sam's approach. He's 2 when it comes to toys. He wants to hold all the toys, but he doesn't want anyone else to be able to play with the toys at the same time. And so I thank you for your answer.
So yeah, I mean, like, that's literally what it is. Like, as we do look at what's happening around the SEC, Gary Gensler does not want to do any work. He wants all control over this system, because guess what? When we look at what's happening, Gary Gensler, the bankers are in his pockets. We already know that. But at the end of the day, like, we need individuals to stand up. We need people to come together and fight back, because there's a big problem here. And we do see here, to close out, Patrick McHenry listed his takeaways from the hearing. 1, current disclosure framework doesn't work for digital assets. CFTC needs additional authority over non-security digital assets. The SEC Gov needs to modify its rules for broker-dealers and securities exchanges. SEC and CFTC alone can't do this alone. Congress must act. I agree. Final word from Brad Sherman. If we want clarity, let's just make it clear that the SEC Gov has full jurisdiction. If the CFTC wants full jurisdiction, that's fine. I can't think of an industry more in need of double regulation rather than zero. But do not, I mean, this guy, I honestly think that this guy should be fired. This guy's an absolute clown. He's the biggest clown at the circus, in my opinion. I cannot stand hearing this guy talk, because it seems as though, I mean, I don't know where this guy got his education at, but apparently he did not go to school, because this guy is one of the most idiotic people that I've ever heard talk and discuss these huge topics. Like, these are topics that could ultimately reshape and change the entire system. And this guy, I mean, I don't understand how he has any authority at all. I mean, this guy is ridiculous. But with that in mind, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on, because I'm more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are on this beautiful world. It's been Nick. Peace out, guys.